All right, JP,
And out
end it.
lefty.
Gone.
And that
Has
one
to
is
be,
lifted in
surely.
the air. Back there.
Gone.
Game.
See ya. Gone.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to Take It to the House. I am joined by Zach Robinson, and now joining the podcast is Elijah Murray. So,
Our new co-host.
yeah.
What's going on?
Welcome, Elijah.
What is going on, guys? I'm excited to be on here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. So, real quick, do you want to just kind of tell everybody a little bit about your sports background and teams and, sports and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I'm an all Cleveland fan, Guardians, Browns, Cavaliers, and also just as a little side note, Cleveland clinched the playoff spot for the first time since 1998 without LeBron James. So
That's crazy.
that's a big feat. We're finally over the LeBron era. I'm also a Liverpool fan, and Ohio State for and Utah because I go here, but mainly Ohio State. And yeah, my dad's from Ohio, so that's kind of how I developed all my teams, and I've just kind of stuck with them. I went through a journey through the AFC North. Actually, I was a Ravens fan, Steelers fan, and Bengals fan before I became a Browns fan. So, but
That's how it
I
goes,
eventually
though.
landed in the right spot.
And now you hate all the other three teams.
Exactly.
And now you hate all the other ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's get started with breaking news that kind of came out today. Lamar Jackson posted on Twitter earlier this morning, Monday the 27th, about the fact that he did officially request a trade from the Ravens back on the 2nd of March. And basically it was kind of like his thank you to the fans of Baltimore, and also like, okay, I'm gonna head out.
I have the old tweet pulled up. It says, a letter to my fans. This is from Twitter, Phil Lamar's actual account. I want to first thank you all for all the love and support you constantly shows toward me. All of you are amazing. I appreciate y'all so much. I want you to all know not to believe everything you read about me. Let me personally answer your questions. In regards to my future plans, as of March 2nd, I requested a trade from the Ravens organization, for which the Ravens have not been interested in meeting my value. Any and everyone's that has met me or been around me know I love the game of football, and my dream is to help a team win the Super Bowl. You are all great, but I had to make a business decision that was best for me and my family. No matter how far I go or where my career takes me, I'll continue to be close to many of my fans of Baltimore Flock Nation and the entire state of Maryland. You'll see me again soon. Truz.
Yeah. So we were kind of talking a little bit before we started, but we all knew that this was kind of like the confirmation of what we already knew, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And thanks to the Deshaun Watson contract, it actually helped the Browns in the long run because, we get one of the best quarterbacks in the league out of our division. And it's a chess move, I think.
Yeah, well, and I remember you and I had talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and you said that you think the reason that the Browns gave Deshaun that money is to ensure that
out.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. And I think it's pretty obvious because Lamar, I think Andrew Berry knew Lamar would think that he's better than Deshaun and would deserve more money than Deshaun. And so giving him that contract not only locks down our quarterback for the future, but also makes the division easier for us. So I think it's a win-win.
Still got to deal with Joe Shiesty, though. You got to think about that.
Hey,
Yeah.
But that's a battle, for the top. I think overall our team is slightly better than the Bengals this year. But hey, I'll take a wild card spot if that's what it comes to,
Zach, what do you think about the Lamar news?
I think it's finally good to see it on the news. Obviously for Lamar himself. Obviously he has really good support from the city of Baltimore and the state of Maryland. So I do think it's great that he did reach out, post publicly.
Yeah.
To everyone to know, I requested a trade. I'm done with Baltimore. If I don't get traded, most likely he's going to sit out this year, and they still have Snoop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
They'll have Tyler Huntley start, which I thought he had a pretty good end of the year too. I mean, he got a Pro Bowl out of it. He's a kind of a substitute, but
right.
I do think he'll get traded this year, though. If not, then he'll get traded in the offseason next year. But where do we see? Do we still see Lamar going to any teams that we said before?
I think I would still be confident that he ends up in Washington.
Yeah.
Like, I think,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, let's be real. The news that broke, was it Schefter or Rappaport that tweeted it a couple weeks ago, or was like, here are all the teams that are out on Lamar? I'm not buying that. Like,
No,
I'm not.
no.
Now, I don't think so. There are certain teams that are definitely, I don't think will do it anymore. So the Raiders, they just got Jimmy G. They won't do it. I don't believe the Falcons will, because I think that they have two quarterbacks that, I mean, okay, not saying that signing Taylor Heineke means that you don't want Deshaun Watson, but I think they have Heineke and they have Ritter. I just don't
Yeah.
see them going for it. And then
I
we
think
know that
they'll
the
compete.
Panthers won't.
They're gonna have a
Because
QB battle, Heineke
Right.
and Ritter.
yeah, and then we know that the Panthers won't. That's why they traded up to number 1 overall. But I still think Washington would be a good fit for him. I mean, you have Bieniemy, and then you have all those weapons, and the division. I mean, while the Eagles were in the Super Bowl last year, that division is not the strongest division. I don't think I could confidently pick a winner of that division right now, anyways. So I think
So-
Washington would be a good spot.
What I will say about the Falcons, because I think that's where he would go, is that the Heineke thing was probably just a safety net, right? Because if
Yeah,
they didn't get, if the way it was looking, at least the way that we thought with all the teams supposedly being out, I don't think anyone really thought all this would develop so quickly afterwards. I look at last year in their pursuit of Deshaun Watson, they were so close to getting him, and they were willing to spend the same amount of money the Browns did. So why not go for another top quarterback and spend the same amount of money who would fit the culture and also the team really well? I think that makes the most sense.
No, I totally agree. I don't. First of all, I think that they have to give Desmond Ritter a shot, but I also think that why sign Heineke and keep Ritter if you're just going to then bring in Lamar Jackson, unless they trade Ritter or
They might be
trade
using Ritter
Heineke.
as they're using Ritter as draft or trade capital.
Right.
They could trade Ritter to the Ravens back.
Right. So, I mean, I'm also, as the Saints fan in me, just doesn't want it to happen either, though. So, like, the Saints kind of run this division now, roster wise. So, I did hear Buccaneer rumors, but Buccaneers don't have enough to give.
Yeah.
Not yet anyway.
Yeah. So, what do you think, Zach? We both gave one of our teams. Where do you think?
I still think Washington's a good fit for Lamar, though I do want to give Sam Howell a chance to see how he does, because if Sam Howell does good, there's no point of trading for Lamar. But if you trade for Lamar in the midseason where Howell's having a bad season, then that's when you can bring in Lamar.
True. Especially when Lamar will probably sit out. So it's like, at that point, it's in the ball's in the Ravens' court to either let him sit for the whole year while you're paying him or get him out. So I think
the franchise tag is paying him. So
right. That's what I'm saying, is like, he's making what, 34 million this year alone, something like that.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I think I would not be surprised though to see him traded like either during the season or right before the season. Like, I won't be surprised if if we don't hear any news on this for like weeks. I wouldn't be surprised.
We also, one thing we didn't really mention is the Colts. I think they could be a dark horse for him because they have a lot of pieces that I think they'd be willing to give up, including DeForest Buckner. I think he'd be part of that trade. So I think I could see him going there too.
Yeah, and they have the 4th pick, right?
Yeah.
They could give Baltimore the 4th and like a player, and then maybe a second or something. Because I think the Ravens' asking price is too high. I think that's why he hasn't been traded yet, is because nobody wants to give them. What were they asking for? 3 firsts?
Yeah. It's like
not
3
gonna
firsts
happen.
and
3 firsts, 2 seconds, and like a 4th or 3rd.
I think the Colts would be stupid to trade the 4th overall pick for Lamar, because Lamar, I don't think will ever reach a Super Bowl. And I think it'd be better to save money and draft someone like CJ Stroud or
Stroud won't fall
Anthony
at 4,
Richardson.
though, I don't think.
Yeah, I was like,
You don't.
4.
So do you think that the Panthers then? Do you think the Panthers get Stroud then?
Well, we've been saying for the past couple of weeks that we think that it's either Stroud or Richardson at 1.
Okay.
Because at least I see Richardson as like a Cam Newton, but a little. I think he's more.
It's more
I
athletic.
think he's more athletic than Cam Newton,
Yeah.
which is why maybe Carolina would be kind of a good fit. And I think that Frank Reich is going to be pretty decent with any of these quarterbacks. But the fact that I said this when we went over the trade, the fact that the first thing we heard when Carolina got the first pick is that it wasn't going to be Bryce Young or that it was going to be CJ Stroud makes me even more confident they won't go young at 1.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they'll go young at 1 at all. I don't think he should even be drafted in like the top 4. I don't think he's a quarterback that's worthy of that.
He reminds me of a Tua. Like that's what
Yeah,
it reminds me of.
or maybe even Baker. I mean,
Yeah.
he's better than Baker, but it's kind
Yeah.
of the same.
I would
But
say
Baker was so good in college too, right? So we
Yeah,
don't know.
exactly.
I would say at least top 10 to the young goes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think you can let him slide outside the top 10 just
No.
out of potential
Principle.
alone. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Washington, Indianapolis is a good shout. I haven't heard about that. I haven't heard that one before. I agree though. I think that like the 4th pick is almost too high though. If they had a top 10, like if they were at like 8, 9, 10, then that's fine.
That's a different story.
That's why Atlanta could make sense is because they're at 9. I believe they're at 9. So it's like, but yeah. Okay. Well, before we move over to Rodgers, I do want to say though, I think the Ravens are being a little disrespectful to Lamar, not even in the sense of they're not giving him the money he wants, but like, let's wrap this up for like, that's what would make me upset. I think that tweet kind of showed that Lamar's upset. Like, guys, I requested a trade. It's been almost a month now. Like, let's get this show on the road. And I think, we see this in international soccer all the time where a player is upset that they can't leave because the club have their fee too high.
Yep.
And it's the same case now where it's like, you're asking so much that the market is going to be this big. And if you guys don't work it out, then I'm stuck here.
And also whoever gets him has to give him a new contract.
Right.
Like you're not going to get a prepaid Lamar.
No, you have to give up all this future assets plus a bunch of money.
Assets.
Yeah. So I don't know. Regardless of anybody's feelings on Lamar, I think that they're being a little disrespectful to a quarterback that's been really, really good for them when fully healthy. But I don't know. Lamar is really fun to watch, and I think that wherever he ends up, he'll still do well.
And I do think that Huntley is a better quarterback than Lamar, like in terms of just straight throwing, obviously Lamar is one of the best mobile, quarterbacks in the league, but in terms of a pure quarterback, I think Huntley is better. So I feel like he could, fill in just fine.
Well, I think that Huntley learning under Lamar is perfect because the way that Huntley plays reminds me a lot of Lamar, especially we watched him a lot at Utah. He was here right before you were, I think. So, but he was super fun to watch. And I've seen him a few times since he's been in Baltimore, and homie is bulked up too. Like he has added a bunch of muscle. And, I don't know. I think that he learning under Lamar was really good for him. And I'm actually kind of surprised that no team has traded for him because I think that he could be a starting quarterback elsewhere too if certain teams want him.
I do too, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on, before we get into Rodgers, I just want to say this. Since last week, we took last week off to go find Elijah as our new co-host.
We went to go find him.
The Panthers did sign Andy Dalton and DJ Chark. I think DJ Chark was probably a big move for them, getting weapons. And also they got Thielen as well.
Yeah.
So I think that was big. And they got Miles Sanders as well and Hayden Hurst.
I think Panthers are having a good offseason.
Yeah, they are. And they've had some good signings. I didn't know Hayden Hurst signed with the Panthers, though. I just found that out. But so if Carolina drafts, they're obviously going to draft Stroud or Richardson. Do you have Andy Dalton compete with Stroud and Richardson, or do you have Andy Dalton as your starter for the season?
I think you have him compete. I mean,
I think you have him compete with Stroud. I think you have him start over Richardson. Because if you draft Richardson, he's a project. He's not going to start in the league right away, no matter where he goes. And I think Stroud is more of like a guy you can plug in and immediately he'll make an impact.
I mean, you saw what Andy Dalton did with the Bears, though. Or I guess you saw what they did with Justin Fields. They had Andy Dalton first, and then Fields took over. I guess it's Ohio State quarterbacks, I guess.
Well, it's just funny too, because like I think that I kind of agree that I think Richardson is more of a project, but I think that you let either of them compete anyways. Like, because what if Richardson is going up against Dalton and he's like so much better? Then you have to start him, I think, right? I don't see that happening. I think Dalton's probably the best thrower of the three of them right now, just because he knows the NFL so well. And he was just in that division.
Yeah, he's still in the division.
He knows those teams pretty well. But I don't know. I think that either of them should be able to compete with Andy Dalton. If I'm Frank Reich, I don't name a starter until like after preseason or like the last week of preseason, because I don't like the mentality of naming, unless you have like a Mahomes or like a Burrow. I don't like the mentality of naming your starter before training camp even starts, or like right at the beginning of training camp, because I think that you need to give those guys a chance to prove that they can be a starter.
You're saying like if they draft a rookie, right?
Yeah. Okay. But I just meant in general, like I think that for most cases, like in teams that don't have amazing quarterbacks, like, okay, the Saints, while we know that Derek Carr will probably be the starter, I think that Jameis and Andy and Derek, like that's a quarterback battle, like, you know, and stuff like that. I think that that's valuable to let them compete it out. But I think that Stroud would beat Andy Dalton out. But I do think that Richardson would probably need to wait a little bit.
Yeah, I think a Richardson situation wherever he goes will kind of be like Patrick Mahomes, you know?
Yeah, or even Josh Allen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So this was confirmed, 5 days after we recorded the March Madness episode?
Oh, the Rodgers.
Yeah.
Let me pull up what day it was while you're talking about it.
Yeah. So Rodgers is officially wanting to play with the Jets. Trade talks are still going down. Negotiating still going down, obviously, from what we can tell so far. But Rodgers did give out a list of some players he wants. Cobb, who's still a free agent. Lazard, who did sign with the Jets. Also, Mecole Hardman signed with the Jets, which I think was a big signing for them as well. Yeah, the little slot receiver, honestly. Elijah Moore got traded to the Browns as well.
Yeah.
Elijah's happy about that.
Yes, sir.
And then he said also tied in Mercedes Lewis, who hasn't been playing for the last year and a half, last 2 years.
Dude, speaking of the Mecole Hardman thing, did you guys see when that trade when it first was announced, it said that Mecole Hardman was traded to the Browns and then they switched to the Jets? You see those tweets? Yeah. Like 3 NFL insiders tweeted Mecole Hardman traded to the Browns, deleted it immediately. Then they tweeted that he went to the Jets, and then right after that, Elijah Moore went to the Browns. So I don't know what happened there.
Oh, weird.
But yeah,
it's just kind of interesting because they said that they weren't going to trade Elijah Moore at first, and then they signed Lazard and Hardman. I was like, all right, now he's getting traded. What did I say?
March 15th, by the way. So
yeah,
that was little over 10 days ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that it's kind of goofy because, so of course Rodgers came out and said that he did not give any demands of players that he needed, which I'm calling bull on. Rodgers is a diva, and you're just making the Green Bay Jets, bro, or like the New York Packers, like you, Randall Cobb, Alan Lazard, Mercedes Lewis was also in Green Bay at one point, I believe.
Yeah,
and like, dude, you complain about the weapons that you have in Green Bay, and then you want to move teams and take the same weapons that you complained about in Green Bay. You're not even taking the best weapons, too.
Yeah.
Like, Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs are both better, in my opinion, than I think. I think I would take Christian Watson over Mecole Hardman right at this moment. I like his size. And then, I mean, Lazard was a good one. But, like, now they're wanting Odell Beckham and stuff like that just for Rodgers. And I don't think it's going to work.
Well, I think if they get Odell, Corey Davis is part of the trade back to the Packers. Because there's no way they can keep that
Yeah,
many.
they can't keep all those receivers.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about Corey Davis.
And I also think the Browns 42 pick that they traded for Elijah Moore is going to go to the Packers as part of the trade. That's probably why they accepted it.
Yeah, I'm saying Zach Wilson, Corey Davis, first round pick, and a second round pick.
I think
That's
that's
my-
probably fair.
That's my for Rodgers and maybe a fourth round pick.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, I think they need to get something other than just Rodgers too, like just to kind of sweeten the pot.
Exactly.
Because giving up a first round
Can you
pick for a
imagine-
39-year-old is not.
Dude, Zach
ideal.
Wilson and Jordan Love in a quarterback battle, 2 Utah college quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of crazy. If Jordan Love can't beat out Zach Wilson, then Jordan Love definitely is not it. 'Cause, like it's not Jordan Love season then if they can't get it done by then.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think Elijah has the same opinion as us, but like Rodgers is just a diva, and I just like
100%.
Zach.
I'm just
Zach
waiting
and
for
I-
the fucking trade
Yeah,
to go through.
yeah.
like,
Zach and I have
Holy
been.
shit.
We've been dreading. Like we don't even like to talk about it anymore because it's so exhausting.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, also-
he's exhausting.
The stupid darkness retreat. I still don't know what that did. What was that supposed to do?
Well, he didn't like he got out of his darkness retreat in like March 4th, right? And then
Mhm.
he didn't even do that whole thing on the Pat McAfee show till like 2 weeks later.
Exactly. He didn't come to any realization.
Well, because what he said was, I'm gonna go on my retreat, and then when I'm done, hopefully I'll be closer to knowing. Like, I don't know, man. I think that Green Bay should feel massively disrespected by him, like because they've done so much for him, and like they've literally gotten him like old, not retired players, but like Randall Cobb. They brought him back just for Rodgers and like all this stuff. They even drafted Christian Watson. Like that was for Rodgers. I mean,
They've sacrificed winning for Aaron Rodgers
right.
just so that he can be happy.
And what has it gotten them? Like nothing.
Nothing. But it's gotten Aaron Rodgers something, you know.
Money
It's money.
and
exactly.
MVPs. Congrats.
And MVPs. Yeah.
I mean, up until this year, the MVP of the regular season had never won a Super Bowl, I believe. I believe it was up until this year, or at least it's been like 30 years or something. Like you go
Mahomes.
back and it's like MVP, yeah, Mahomes this year. But like,
It
you
was
know,
Kurt
great.
Warner before that.
yeah. So
Wow.
that's, you know, it's like that shows that MVP of the regular season doesn't
Do
translate.
you guys think that at 15 the Packers will get JSN?
There's a
Well,
chance.
Yeah. I mean, I think it depends too, is it does sound like they're ready to give Jordan Love his shot.
Yeah.
And I think they do have good weapons already too with Romeo Dobbs. Like seriously, Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson had a really great rookie season until Dobbs got injured
Mhm.
because of
Who's their
Rodgers.
third though? Do you even know who
So they have
third?
they have Watson, Dobbs, and they got rid of MVS and they got rid of Lazard, so they don't have a 3 right now.
Well, let's hypothetically say they get Corey Davis, then I guess that he would be.
I
their
probably
third.
wouldn't draft Smith and Jigba then at that point because
Yeah.
while I think that Smith and Jigba is a really, really good wide receiver, I don't think that at that point you have a good enough wide receiver core that could be spent on like a D lineman or like an offensive tackle because I have been hearing rumors that Rodgers wants to bring Bakhtiari with him to the Jets. So
Bro,
again,
this is so selfish.
well, and again, it's like you're making the New York Packers or the Green Bay Jets. Like,
Oh
dude, what
my
are you doing?
gosh. Why leave Green Bay?
Why leave Green Bay if you want to take everything to Green Bay? Like,
Yeah.
oh man. And
Oh,
dude, you're not even living in New York. You're playing in Jersey, bro.
yeah, exactly.
Man.
They should be
fits
called the New Jersey
though.
Jets.
He fits Jersey though.
Yeah.
I'm over it. I'm so over him. I
He's
just
so annoying.
it's like what Zach said. I'm just ready for the trade to be official so we can just stop like speculating. And then what's going to happen is that all the hype is going to go to them this year and they're going to underperform and they're not going to win a Super Bowl. And then everybody's
Just like
going
the
to say,
freaking Broncos last year.
yeah, Yeah. I think
Well,
even the expectations, but I think the expectations with New York will be even higher than the Broncos' expectations.
And
I
it's
do
so funny because Browns fans were complaining after the Elijah Moore trade, like, oh my gosh, we helped the Jets get Rodgers. We helped, a team in the AFC get one of the best quarterbacks in the league. It's like, who cares?
Y'all
They're
needed
not
a receiver though. Y'all needed a
Right.
receiver. I think it was a
Like,
good.
you
That was
fill
a
a need.
W trade.
Exactly. We filled
Yeah.
a need, and our wide receiver core is actually kind of stacked now. We have Cooper, Moore, DPJ, and Marquise Goodwin. We signed him,
And then you have David Njoku at
and
tight
we
end.
have David Njoku as our tight end.
Yep.
Yeah, well, and that's what's funny to me is that when everybody's worried about like interconference, like, oh, you traded him to the AFC and we're in the AFC. Doesn't matter unless they're in your division. Like, that's what I
Exactly.
think. And
Yeah.
that's why I hated when Brady went to the Bucks. I'm like, damn it. Even though the Saints own Tom Brady
Yeah.
in the South, like it was so annoying. So, any other little NFL bits before we take a quick break and then transition over to a couple of other topics?
Yeah, I think the
yeah, go ahead.
Texans. I think the Texans take Smith and Jibba at 12 because
Ooh.
they get
They could
Bryce
get
Young a
their
weapon.
starting quarterback and then give them a weapon.
Yep, because
Yeah.
they got Robert Woods, but they traded Brandon Cooks to Dallas. So I think that's a point where if I'm Houston, I take a receiver.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Just imagine, because
Or
it
Quentin
won't
Johnson.
happen.
Or Quentin Johnson from TCU.
Yeah, but just imagine they draft Stroud at 2. Stroud falls to them at 2, and then they draft Smith and Jigba, and then they have both of those guys on the Texans. It's like Jamar and Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
That would be
I mean,
sick.
it's like a little lower version of that, but it's like the same thing. That'd be so cool.
That'd be awesome.
I'm for that. I'm for that for sure.
100%. I always like when college teammates can hook up in the NFL,
especially quarterback, wide receiver, like quarterback,
Yeah.
running back, like ETN and Lawrence too. Like I think that's such a good thing, and
Or
we've seen how
and Devontae.
Right.
and Devontae last year.
yeah. Well, and we've seen how well that translates just when you look at like Burrow and Chase. That's all you need to look at is like if it wouldn't have been Jamar Chase, if it would have been any other wide receiver that was that top tier but didn't go to LSU, they would have drafted Sewell.
Yeah.
But they drafted Jamar because they wanted to get Burrow his guy, and it worked out.
Yeah, made the Super Bowl his rookie year.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
And then
You guys have a free
Go
agency
ahead.
signing that you guys think is like the steal so far?
I would say, if we're talking linemen, I would say Ben Powers and Mike McGlinchey, honestly.
Yeah.
I think those are the top 2 linemen on the market.
Well, what's kind of fun is that I think that both Zach and I, like both of our teams, the Browns have got Elijah Moore, but not a whole lot of other movement. They got the big boy from Minnesota, right?
Yeah, we got Dalvin Thompson. We got the edge rusher from the Texans.
And then
I don't
Elijah
know how
Moore.
to pronounce his name. And then Elijah Moore and then Marquise Goodwin as well.
But like, I don't know. I'm also really excited about the Saints free agents acquisitions. So the Saints got Derek Carr. Everybody knows about that. But then the Saints signed Jamal Williams, who I'm so excited. I love that guy. He's so funny. I want to see a Jamal Williams and Jameis Winston joint interview. That would be must-see television. And then just today, the Saints did sign Brian Edwards, too, the wide receiver from Atlanta. He also played in Vegas with Carr. So I really like that. The Saints wide receiver group is looking really nice. So now I don't really want the Saints to draft a wide receiver unless like Zay Flowers falls to them. But
yeah,
I don't know. In terms of not my team,
I would say Sam Darnold to the Niners is a good signing for right now, honestly, because I know how Purdy.
Yeah, true. They needed like a little bridge guy.
And John Lynch gave Purdy the rights to earning the starter spot when he comes back. So he's going to be the starter when he's back.
I saw that.
I think another kind of slept on one, though. I kind of like Jacoby Myers to the Raiders, especially right after they signed. It was right
after they signed Jimmy G.
Yeah, they signed Jimmy G first, right?
Yeah.
That one was a good one. And then going back to New England, I think Juju to New England was actually a pretty good one, too. I think Bill Belichick is going to get Juju in line. And I don't know. Who was freaking Hargrave, right? Went to the Niners too.
Mm-hmm.
That was nuts.
Money.
It is too much money. And I think that's what we saw this free agency is like
D line
D
markets has kind of
lineman-
went up.
Yeah. Like Marcus Davenport, who was like doing meh for the Saints, got like a $22 million deal or something like that. And it's just so much money.
And then Deron
So-
Payne with a 4-year 90.
Yeah.
That's kind of what started it, though. Well,
Yeah.
okay. My opinion, Deron Payne is actually a good D tackle, though. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Well,
here.
he is a good tackle.
He's
I think
proved it.
all of these players are good tackles and good players, but like they're all being overpaid.
Yeah.
I think Hargrave's just overpaid because he's a little too old. He's like 32.
Yeah.
So I think he's a little old for that.
I also
kind of
think
money.
it's overpaid because of what the Niners already have. Like I don't know if that's I don't know if that can qualify for why it's overpaid, but like I guess
Well, you gotta extend Bosa.
Okay, so
you gotta
like,
extend Bosa still.
I mean, it'd be like if I already had a really nice like car, like a 2020 car, and then I bought a brand new 2022 or 2023 or whatever. Like that doesn't make any sense. I'm overpaying for that when I already have good value.
Exactly.
So I don't know. What do you think, Elijah? What would you say like a kind of sleeper good signing is? That's not your team. That's not your team.
I'm gonna say Brandon Cooks to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think they needed a veteran presence in that locker room after they lost Cooper.
He's just
I
got
think
to
he
stay
fills that
healthy.
need. And I think he has to stay healthy, but he's not moving too far. He's still in the state of Texas. And I think that was kind of a sleeper thing that not really too many people kind of
And
focused
they
on.
kind of fleeced him too.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. I
didn't
think it
they
was
give
for
like
a
a
fifth
round pick or
What?
fifth and sixth or something?
Yeah,
Like a fourth and a sixth or a fourth and fifth, whatever.
Yeah, it's just like
it's wild.
it just shows though what the wide receiver, like how many good wide receivers are in the NFL is that
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks is valued at a fourth and a sixth or a fifth and a sixth or something. That's nuts.
I wonder where D Hop's gonna go though.
Yeah, I still don't know where D Hop's going. That's gonna be like
I wouldn't
next,
say
I bet
I
that's
wouldn't
next week topic.
I wouldn't
just like
say the
that.
Patriots anymore. I know that somebody was talking about the Patriots, but I think now that they have Juju,
I don't think they can afford him.
no, and I mean, I do think that Jacoby Myers was a big loss for New England because now Juju has to be their one, and we've seen the problem when Juju has to be the
They have
number
Devontae
one.
Parker though.
Like, but still, Juju will have to be the number one, and I don't like that. Like we saw,
Yeah.
that's why I think Juju was pretty good with the Chiefs is because he didn't have to be the number one option. Maybe he was the number one receiver option, but Kelsey
Travis
was
Kelce.
the number one option.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I could see the Packers trading for D Hop with all the pick surplus that they have.
right, but would
If they
D Hop
don't
want to
draft
go
him.
there if it was Jordan Love throwing him the ball
Or Zach Wilson. if
Or
that
Zach
I don't
happens.
really
Wilson?
I think at this point it's not really his choice where he gets to go.
Yeah.
It's on
I feel like
it's
it's dragged on for so long. It's kind of out of his power.
Yeah.
two more things before we take a break. Bobby Wagner is back in Seattle for a
Love it.
one-year deal.
Love
Retire. I think he retires next year. And then there was one more I missed. Shoot. We just signed another 1 year. Damn it. I don't remember.
What
Anyway,
about D Hop to the Dolphins?
no, they don't need him.
Well, they don't need him, but it's not a matter of if they need him or not. They didn't
Oh,
need
I
Jalen
remembered.
Ramsey.
I remembered. Taylor Rapp to the Bills on a 1 year deal. I don't like the signing, honestly. My
An
opinion.
interesting signing.
Because I don't know why you would sign with the Bills and you're not going to play.
Yeah.
Because they got Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde.
Yeah.
I don't know why that signing
Which
doesn't make any sense
that
to
was
me.
it was Poyer who we all thought was gonna end up leaving and then he re-signed, right?
Yep.
I think that's such a L for Poyer.
Did you guys
'cause-
see Deshaun Elliott, the new Dolphin safety? He tweeted out saying, "Go get Lamar," after the Dolphins just picked up to his 5th-year option.
Oof.
Yeah.
I think the Dolphins picking up his 5th-year option is a smart play because then they could trade him if they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So you got another 2 years. That's kind of what the
Dude.
Browns did with Baker, honestly.
yeah, but that
Exactly
didn't
what
work
they
out
did.
very well.
I thought he had a good second half with the Rams, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying it didn't work out for the Browns to extend him.
No.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
All right.
all right, well, let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about March Madness and MLB
Pro
opening week.
days.
So,
And pro days.
oh yeah, and pro days. Nobody cares about pro days.
Thatcher hates. Thatcher hates pro days. It's
Hate
official.
pro days. Yeah. All right, we will be right back. Welcome back, guys, from our little break. Okay, so in this second half, we are going to talk about March Madness that has been very mad, one could say, and then we'll end with MLB with opening week this week. So, Zach, how's your bracket? Oh, you didn't make one, but everybody's
Dude,
brackets are busted.
If I did make a bracket,
it would have been
broken
gone
already.
Yeah.
I-
So, what do you think?
Goddamn Zaga lost.
Yeah.
I do like this Final Four. It's good
It's
not to
nuts.
see a ones. It's nuts. It's good to see not a single one seed.
Is there a 2 seed? There's not even a 2
No,
seed.
the highest seed is 4. It's
That's
4, 2
crazy,
5s, and a
bro.
9.
That's crazy, man.
So I have Miami going all the way now, baby.
I want FAU to win it all because why not? For those watching and saying, why is Elijah just not even paying attention? It's because Elijah does not pay attention to college basketball.
Listen, I do have I have a witness and that also doesn't watch college basketball. De'Aaron Fox said this.
Yeah, I
Did you
saw
see
that.
what he said?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
said that it's too boring for him to watch it. He doesn't like it.
Yeah, here's the full quote. He said, I can't watch a full college game. It's hard. The shot making is not at the pro level. The refs are bad. A lot of coaching is really bad. I can't stand it. So I'm not the only one. And pro basketball player doesn't like it. So
well, and I don't like, and that's the thing is like I don't blame you guys. Like I don't you guys, you and your friend De'Aaron Fox. I don't blame you.
I just think it's different rules, honestly.
Well,
Different
and
rules they
also
have.
like I don't watch a regular season. I don't pay attention until March Madness, and then I pay attention because it's fun.
The regular season is kind of a joke.
Yeah, it's kind of boring.
I like the Pac-12. I think the Pac-12 is probably the most interesting conference this year, though.
Yeah, because there were a lot of like teams that were decent. Like they weren't elite, but they were like all decent.
Well, and there was a lot of upsets too at the beginning of the season, like Utah beating Arizona, who was 4.
Yeah, and then Utah shitting the bed later. But
yeah, but they beat UCLA too, didn't they?
I think UCLA beat Utah, but I could be wrong.
But
anyways, our Final Four is set. It's San Diego State.
I can see them winning it all the way too.
San Diego State,
honest.
Florida Atlantic, Miami, and who am I missing?
UConn.
And UConn. That's right. UConn's the 4 seed. So it's gonna be fun. I don't really. I'm not even gonna say like I have this team going all the way because like I had Houston winning it, so that didn't do very well. But Texas did just hire their interim head coach. That was the interim head coach. They hired him to a 5-year, signed him to a 5-year contract. So, but no, it's been a super fun tournament. A little too crazy for my liking, just in the sense that like, while it's really fun that this is the Final Four, I do wish we had like a Duke or a UNC or something just to kind of like have that big brand. But I do think it's really good for the tournament to show that it's like, hey, you can win this thing. You can go really far, even if you're a really low seed. So I'll be watching. It'll be fun. My bracket is destroyed, but it's okay. It's been destroyed for a while. But yeah, it's been super fun to watch. So
this weekend, huh? April 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Saturday?
Yeah.
All right, Thatcher, look out for a text from me.
Car payment is due on April 1st for me.
Rent is due for me on April 1st.
Anyways, so that's gonna kind of just do it for March Madness talk because there's not while it's been really fun, there's not a whole lot to go. We're not gonna go game by game, but we did our bracket, which you guys can go watch and you can see how bad we did.
And we say goodbye to Caleb one more time if you guys wanted to do that.
Oh yeah, you can go say goodbye to Caleb and realize that he had Baylor Bears going all the way to the championship. And they were out in the second round. So
I just do want to say this real quick. Texas was up by 13, mainly the whole second half.
And they lost.
Miami came back and won by 7. That was their
like
biggest lead tonight was 7.
I like Miami's unis, by the way. I think they're cold. The black ones. Really nice.
Dude. I think it's because the women were wearing the orange ones too.
And they're out though. Oh no, they beat Tennessee.
Miami's out.
Miami's out.
Miami's women's is out because they lost to LSU. Jinx.
Yeah. I'm still salty about that because the Utes completely choked. But anyways, Okay. This is where Elijah should take over because he's the biggest, I would say the biggest MLB out of the three of us. So
Yeah, this is my
It's
wheelhouse.
it's
This is my wheelhouse.
opening motherfucking week, baby.
I'm so excited.
Yes, sir. I mean, where do we even begin? Right? Baseball is the best time of the year. I don't care what anyone says. It's getting into summer. It's the end of winter. You know, it's snowing.
It's
Or
snowing
it's snowed
here,
outside. Yeah, and like I think because I went back to Arizona about a week ago, and 75 watching spring training. It's beautiful. And then I come back here and
Snow.
I'm in ankle deep snow.
Cold and depressing.
Yeah, and then
Exactly.
you bust your knee because you slip on the snow at the university.
Exactly. I need to go ice it after this, but
Ice it
Yikes.
after you. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know where to start.
let's
Do
say
you
okay,
wanna
let's talk about our teams because Zach's a
Exactly.
Guardians fan or Guardians fan. I'm a Guardians fan. Zach's a Giants fan, and you're a Mariners fan.
The
And just talk
GGs.
about what are you
GGs.
expecting for this season, and where do you what would be a successful season for you?
Zach, do you
Honestly?
wanna start? Yeah, go ahead.
Honestly, I'm kind of sad we didn't get judged. Obviously,
Kinda.
um, we did get Mitch Haniger, which I liked that signing. We still have Crawford. We still have Logan Webb. I think we need to upgrade our bullpen so freaking badly. Holy,
Yeah.
I think next year, or if we trade, we need to freaking upgrade our bullpen. Our bullpen is so freaking bad.
Well, and so many trades happen in the season that you probably will trade for a pitcher.
I mean, yeah, look at last year when Soto got traded to the Padres.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they got a bunch of pitchers in for the Nationals now.
Mm-hmm.
So anything could happen. But I think Mitch Haniger's a good upgrade. We still have Jock as well. I think Jock will have really another good year after coming off that World Series win 2 years ago. So yeah.
In terms of
I'm hoping
expectations
playoffs.
in terms of expectations, do you expect what would you say like your expectations / hopes are for the Giants this season then?
I want to say we beat the Dodgers a lot this year because I freaking hate the Dodgers. And we also made the playoffs this year. I mean, we were the 1 seed 2 years ago. Believe that. And then we lost Buster Posey, and now we're freaking dry with catchers. But we do have catchers coming up. Honestly.
Okay.
I think Joey Bart had a good year last year as well. But I want to at least make the wild card to the playoffs this year.
Fair.
So, but some opening note day before we go with Thatcher and Elijah for their stuff. Juan Soto is likely to play. Joey Votto is out, which I think is huge for the Reds. And then there was one more.
Well, and then also you got to talk about Diaz going out in the WBC.
Yeah,
Now
Diaz
he's
is out for the whole year.
Yeah.
And
so
then
is
we
Reese
had, Bryce Hawkins is done too. And then
Just
we had
for celebrating, man, that's tough.
Yeah, I know. And then Mitch Haniger's also out. He was supposed to be back by the time the season started, but he's not back, which is kind of disappointing.
Surprise.
But it got worse. So, all right, Elijah, since you're our new host, you get to take the lead on your Guardian,
I'll go last.
and you can go last.
That's okay.
All right.
I'll go last because I also know the least about baseball. So
Fair enough.
that's fair.
The Guardians are the only team in the entire AL Central that actually improved without losing a single piece. Right? We got Josh Bell, Silver Slugger, switch hitter, who will kind of fill in, a much needed offensive position. We got Mike Zunino, who will hopefully do better than Austin Hedges last year because Austin Hedges, I think, had like a 100 batting average. He was absolutely horrendous. And we have the runner-up for Rookie of the Year, stupid Julio Rodriguez took it over to Stephen Kwan, even though Stephen
Deservedly
Kwan
so, though.
No. And also we got SpongeBob. We have a lot of okay. So our farm system is the second best in the MLB. Only the Orioles have more prospects than us. and a lot of our prospects are actually starting for us. So I think future-wise, we are looking incredible, but also, right now we're looking great. Last year, we made it, we almost beat the Yankees, even though we had like the third lowest payroll in the entire league.
Weren't you guys up in that series too?
We were up like 2-1, but then they just kind of took over,
Yeah.
Our pitching kind of let us down, and I still think our pitching is our weak spot. I think our offense has really improves, but our pitching, mainly our bullpen, is kind of weak. But I hopefully we'll be able to make up for that. I think this year, honestly, my prediction for the World Series is that the Padres is going to be Padres and Guardians. I really do. I think if we had the team that we had last year, we would have beat the Yankees and gone to the World Series.
Wow.
I really think so.
That's bold.
That is bold.
I think I don't know. It's something you get, sometimes you get feelings, and I think this year is last year I didn't even expect us to make it to the playoffs. I thought we were going to finish third in the division. So I already was surprised last year. Might as well be surprised again.
I know, but like hey, I think like, is it possible? Yeah, like I don't think that it's like delusion to hear you say that. I think that it might be a reach, but I don't think like I'm not saying like you're insane, because I think it could happen. Like they are a good team, and I do think that you're right. I think they were not horrible against the Yankees. Like I watched most of that series, and they looked pretty good. I think that they could, much like the Giants, I think they could strengthen their bullpen though.
And I do think
You guys have a good closer though.
oh yeah, Emmanuel
Yeah.
Clase. He's incredible. Oh my gosh, I just forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, the top three betted on teams to win the World Series are I think the
Padres.
Yankees were one, the Guardians were two,
And then probably
and
Padres
three
at 3.
three was, I don't know, maybe it was the Dodgers. I don't remember.
The
But
Dodgers and the Padres recently are always going to be like the favorites.
yeah, but I mean, for the Guardians to be number two, the second
That's
most bet on
impressive.
team to win the World Series, is pretty impressive.
Well, especially when you look at the teams that are up there, like we said, the
Yeah.
Dodgers, the Padres, the the
Yankees,
Phillies too, the Yankees,
Phillies,
the
yeah.
Astros, like and I'm gonna mention them after I talk a little bit about the Mariners, but like when you look at the ESPN rankings, like they still have the Mets really high too. And I don't
Schwarzer still.
I know, but I don't know. But that is really impressive. The fact that they were the second most betted team to win the World Series is really impressive. So
Yeah.
And you
So
guys,
anyways.
I mean, and they have a I wouldn't say easy division, but it's not the hardest, to say the least.
Yeah, I would be I think it's a division where we can expect to win it back to back, right? I don't see us slowing down anytime soon.
So in terms of, I'll flip your question back to you then. Would you say what would your expectations for this team? You can say that you do you expect this team to make the World Series, or do you just
No.
think that they can?
I think that we can, and I think that it would. I don't think I would be super surprised if we did. That's how much I believe in this team. I would just expect. I'd probably say this year I expect us to make it to the championship series.
Okay.
I think we have the talent to be there, and I think we added enough pieces to where it would be a good expectation.
Yeah.
You always have to improve. You can't have an expectation of going back down.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking at something here. Okay. So I have said it on this podcast before. I don't think I touched on it that much, but this is really my first big season that I'm actually really getting into baseball.
And you're also getting blessed with a City Connect uniform, so much.
We already know what it's going to look like, but it's okay. But so just a little bit about how I got into baseball. Growing up, I always thought that baseball was like the worst and was super boring. And I've finally this last season I turned on. I was just scrolling through channels and stuff, and I turned on the Mariners versus the Blue Jays, and I was like, "Whoa, this is like." I was like, "This is a bigger deal than I thought," you know. And when I heard that the Mariners hadn't made the playoffs, and I believe over, oh my gosh, it's been like 30 years. I think it was like, I think I'll have to double check that, but I believe it's been about 30 years. And so when I heard that, I love an underdog, which for a lot of my sports life has been really rough because they're underdogs for a reason. So they don't win a lot. But when I heard that story, I immediately like kind of was attracted to the Mariners. And then, I don't know. Julio Rodriguez is like so fun to watch though, bro. Like I know that you're so pissed off because he won Rookie of the Year, but like he's so fun to watch. Um, and I have a little bit of a man crush on him, and my girlfriend bullies me for it. But no, so I have claimed the Mariners as my team since I watched them um beat the Blue Jays and then play against the Astros. That sucked, but at least they lost to the eventual champions. So it makes me feel better. In terms of additions, though, I really like the addition to Oscar Hernandez. I think that was a good pickup, especially because he is teammates with Julio for the Dominican Republic. I think that was a good addition. And then Colton Wong, obviously, he was another addition that he'll be second base. So, I mean, my expectations would be knowing what this team can do because they did also go on like a 14 game win streak last year at one point, like middle of the season. And that was a huge thing for them. I think my expectations would be to be comfortably in the playoffs, like to be not have to wait till like the last few games to be like they did it, they ended the drought. Like be comfortable, and I think win win your first series, like that would make me feel good. Or even beat a team that other people think are better than you. So if you go up against the Astros again this year or something, beat them. Beat them because you can. They can. They have the power. They really do have the pieces to do it. And I think they have one of the better catchers in the game too, and he's still really young. Raleigh's really fun to watch, and I love his nickname, Big Dumper. You love to see it. So no, I mean, and I think the addition of Castillo last season was huge for pitching wise, because they had kind of a crappy bullpen too. But George Kirby also is looking really good. I believe that this is only his second year. I thought he was a rookie, but I could be wrong. Last year, or it was his first year in the majors at least. So, I would just say be comfortable in the playoffs, like not leave it till late, and then win your first series. And I think that within the next few years, the Mariners could be pushing for even more than that. But in terms of this year alone, I don't want to. This is a team that did just end their 30-year playoff drought, so I don't want to go ended the drought to World Series. Like you can't expect that yet.
No. I think, and you kind of have the same mindset that I have, where it's like just do one step better, right? One step better, and I'll be happy.
And that shows improvement. Like that's all I'm looking for. Is like show that you're an improving team. It's like because you signed your superstar for life. Like you signed Julio to like a 15-year deal, so like he's not leaving. So make it worth staying. Make it worth his time. Because
don't turn into the Angels.
Right. Don't make it can we mention that the Angels have Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout on the same team and are still horrendous? Like
it's outrageous.
It's just so crazy.
I don't think we've ever seen such a waste of talent.
No. So don't make it that. I don't think they will make it that. I do think that their City Connect uniforms hopefully aren't going to be disappointing.
Just don't be the Jimi Hendrix nonsense that you showed me.
I sent Zach a picture of that this morning, and I still said I'm dreaming about this. But nah, man, I'm just looking for improvement and more like less stress. Don't make it stressful in the end. Like make it in the playoffs, feel good. So yeah. Give me just a second. My dogs are whining at the back door, so I will be right back.
Whining.
So Zach,
Yeah.
who do you feel will lead you guys in home runs this year?
Probably Jock again.
Yeah.
I think Jock will lead us in home runs this year.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I would say Josh Bell for the Guardians, honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say Josh Bell too.
Bro, he's hard to play against in the show. I was playing the Guardians the other day, and he's good.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
a switch hitting power hitter like that is insane.
It sucks.
The show is downloading for me right now, boys.
Let's go. What percentage
It's
is
such
that?
a good game. When you hit a perfect, you just kind of orgasm.
I hit a clip. It was like a walk-off perfect with JP Crawford, and I was like, oh. Like, I clipped it too, and I watched it back, and I was like, oh my gosh.
You gotta send us the clip, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll send it right now.
Send us the clip, and I'll put it in the episode.
Okay.
Oh man.
Or at least was it a perfect? Even if it wasn't a perfect,
it's
like,
so satisfying.
It was like the sound was just so, and the thing is like the crack of it, and then immediately the crowd started cheering, and you knew, and you're like, yes,
yeah.
Yeah.
it is a really good game. It's like, for not ever playing it, I've been really impressed so far.
Yeah.
The show last year was just kind of dead.
The show was garbage last year.
Yeah.
I think that's the worst one in the series.
Listen.
Yeah. Okay, let me pull up.
It was a perfect walk off. Yes. Okay, I'm sending this to the group chat right now.
Email me the clip too when you email me the footage.
Okay.
Yeah, wait, when you hit a perfect on Xbox, do you get the vibration through the controller or no? You do? Okay.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna find another usage for that every time I hit a perfect. Yeah. Do you let me pull up. So ESPN did.
I got him right here.
The power rankings, yeah.
Yeah, I do. All right, let me go find first team that comes to mind. Okay, Thatcher's. So
it's because my team is the first one on there.
The Mariners are 10 in power rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, whoa! The Mariners are ahead of the Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's outrageous. That's
what I said, dude.
That doesn't make any sense.
I think JP Crawford definitely had a good season last year too.
He's a stud. He just has to be consistent. Like, that's the thing, is like he's really good when he works.
But Elijah, Guardians are 12.
Yeah,
they're only 2 spots behind.
We should be 2 spots ahead.
I mean, like,
take that shit. You're gonna take that shit, Thatcher?
I mean, Julio Rodriguez is better than your rookie of the year. Okay, so just relax.
The Giants are 22.
That is bad.
The difference would be if you guys would have got Judge. Like, how far? I
think they would be at like top 5.
I would say top 15.
I would say top 15. I don't think top 5.
I would say top
5. Same track.
Okay, I'll change top 10. Because like I think Aaron Judge makes almost any team like a top.
Dude, 10. The Angels are ahead of the Giants. What in the?
Angels have 2 of the best players in the world,
and they still are booty.
I know, but like, if you have Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout on your team, you automatically are better. Huh?
Can we talk about how Trout went against Ohtani in the WBC championship?
Oh, on a 3-2 count too.
3-2 count.
Man,
that's a sexy home run, Thatcher.
I saw your face when you watched it. I was like, oh, he's watching it.
Yeah.
I'm emailing it to you, Zach, because I don't know why it won't send.
All right, and then I find this a little bit surprising. The Padres are at 5.
Who's number 1?
The Astros.
You want to take a guess?
Is 2 the Yankees?
No.
Oh, who's 2?
Braves.
What?
Mm-hmm.
It's because they got Sean Murphy from the A's.
Oh, that's outrageous. I think
the Yankees are 3 though. Mets are 4. Padres are 5.
Bro, why do people overrate the Mets so much? Like,
the Mets. That's what I was saying. Like, out of all my beef with the rankings, like, I would say the Mets being at 4 is ridiculous.
That's definitely ridiculous. I mean, they have Francisco Hubbard as well,
Lindor, yeah.
and Lindor.
Lindor should have never left the Guardians.
No, I agree with that.
I think okay. So do you think the Padres at 5? Were you saying that that's too high?
I would say it's a little too
That's
high.
Too low.
I was
I
going to
think
say
it's too
too
low.
low. I think I would put them at 3 and the Yankees at 4.
I would say no. Okay, here's what I would say. I would say Yankees at 2, Padres at 3,
Yankees at 2?
Braves at 4.
I think Braves should not
Or
be
sorry.
2. That's nuts.
No, yeah.
I think the Padres are 2.
Yeah, I think
If
the
you look who
Padres
they
are
got,
2.
they got Xander Bogaerts is one of the best additions. Of
Yeah,
the
he
offseason.
just hit. They were playing the Mariners today, and he.
I mean, they got
killed it.
Hansung Kim, and then they shipped Jake Cronenworth to first, and they got Manny Machado and a Juan Soto on a freaking huge contract. None of the fact they're gonna get Tatis back in.
Yeah, they're
I
getting
would-
Tatis back
20
in
games.
Yeah.
soon.
I would say okay. I would say Astros 1 is fair because they just won
Yeah.
it, so they have to be number
Mhm.
1. And then I'd say Padres 2, Yankees 3, and then I mean Braves at 4. But I don't even know if Braves should be 4.
I would say Braves at top 6 at least.
So maybe, but who would you put at 4 then if you don't want Braves at 4? Because it's not the Mets. It's not the Mets.
No, I would say okay. So here's what I would say. I would say Astros 1.
Yeah.
Padres. Sorry, New York 2. Yankees.
Okay.
Because they got basically everybody back on
Yeah.
good contracts. Padres 3 with Xander Bogaerts, Tatis coming back, Manny Machado on a big contract, Juan Soto coming
Yeah.
off a stellar year. I would say Braves at 4. Honestly,
I was gonna say
Braves
you
at
could
4.
put the Braves at 4. That's fine.
That's what I was
And
saying.
then
That's what I was
I would
saying.
put the Dodgers at 5.
Thatcher.
I'd put the
Dodger-
Dodgers
I
at
would-
5.
I want the Dodgers at 32.
Here's what I think is crazy. How can the team, how can the Yankees, who are number 3, who were taken to Game 5 in the divisional round against the Guardians, who are ranked 12th? That doesn't make any sense. How are they so much? How is there a 10-spot difference between the two?
Because they got Judge and Anthony.
But they had
Rizzo
Judge
back.
last year, and they almost
Yeah.
lost to it.
They didn't have Rizzo last year, did they?
Yeah.
Or was he hurt?
I don't think. I mean, I think that it's like you said, they're pretty much returning everybody. But like again, to Elijah's point, if they're returning everybody, but they didn't even make it to like the World Series, why are they at 3?
And they can only play in their park. Their team is built for Yankee Stadium, not for any other stadium.
Well, okay.
I think that they have to be top. Like they have to be in the top 5. Like regardless of how you want to rank them, they have to be in the top 5.
Well, I think that's fair, but then put the Guardians up more.
Yeah, but the Guardians aren't the top 5.
No, but like top.
Put them
I'd say
higher up because they technically went toe to toe with the
Yeah,
number 3.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I want to say before we move on to one more thing that I think that's a good signing for the Brewers. With Xander Bogaerts playing shortstop or second base, where does Fernando Tatis go?
I think they were
Outfield, or do they?
talking-
I think they're talking about putting him in the outfield, maybe.
Yeah, I think they were talking about putting him in the outfield. I
The
was just
Tatis on
watching.
Kim can't play outfield.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just watching Locked On because it was Locked On Mariners, but they did the crossover with the Padres because we were playing them, and I think they were the Locked On Padres guy. I can't remember his name, but he was saying that they're going to put him in the outfield.
Well, and they're moving Cronenworth.
Just
to
push the
first.
drama all the way to the back of the field.
Yeah,
Let
but
them
they're
interact
putting
with the fans.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
put him right next to them.
So that what would that be? Tatis, Soto, and Machado in the freaking backfield or the outfield? Excuse me.
Machado's third base.
Oh, sorry, Machado is third base. You're right. Excuse me. Soto, Tatis, and whoever the other one is, I can't remember off the top of my head right now.
Who's their center fielder?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Um,
I'm looking it up.
I was going to look it up too, but it's kind of you're on it, so you get it. I
their
mean,
team is
Tatis.
seriously stacked.
If they don't win the World Series, then like what are they doing? Right? Like
Yeah,
at this point,
yeah.
right? And I think because they were so irrelevant for so long, I don't think like all of their fans are just like, great, spend more money. Like I don't even
Yeah.
care.
And their owner's
Um,
willing to spend it.
Right. So, and I think those fans kind of deserve it because they've been patient and they've been dealing with a lot of shit for a long time.
Yeah.
It's Trent Grisham.
Oh, Trent
yeah.
Grisham. Yeah.
I
And
don't
It looks like and it looks like they're putting Tatis at right field. That's where they have him
Okay.
listed
Yeah.
on
Okay.
the depth chart.
Yeah. I don't like that they not rebranded because they used to be those colors, I believe, but like
Yeah.
the brown
like
and yellow is
21, yeah.
awful.
I like it.
Yeah.
I can't stand. I hate it.
I
I
like
like
their
black
brown
and
it's-
with
yellow.
the-
I like
but
their
it's-
black and yellow.
I like their tan. It's like that tan colored
Oh,
one.
the camo one.
It's not camo.
It is camo.
No.
They had a camo one, but
No.
Yeah,
had
they
a-
did.
I think that's the one you're talking
That's
about.
not the one. I'm talking about this one. The one that says San Diego on it. This one.
Ah, yeah,
Is that the one with the
yeah.
pinstripes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's
I like
fire.
that one. Yeah, I like that one. I don't like their brown jerseys, but like their poop brown jerseys. I don't like those. But I
Yeah,
also
those are bad.
yeah,
But the
but
white ones and their
yeah,
light
I
brown
have
ones.
ties to Wyoming. That's where my grandma and like a lot of my family are there in Wyoming, and I'm used to seeing those colors because the University of Wyoming's brown and yellow too. And I just think
Yeah.
it's so ugly. But the one thing I do like more about it is it distinguishes them more from the stupid Dodgers because they're bitter rivals and they were almost the same colors because it was like Padres were like darker navy and white, and then the Dodgers were like bright blue and white. And I was like, I think it's weird when rivals have like the same exact colors. That's why I think like certain rivalries look so good on TV is because they're opposite colors.
Ugly colors match ugly cities.
Oof.
Yeah.
San
All right,
Diego's not an
before-
ugly city, by the way. It's
No,
freaking
it's
amazing.
really pretty. It's really pretty. I've been there so many times. It's so pretty.
It is really pretty.
Before we sign off, the Brewers did sign Luke Boyd to a 1-year deal. I think that's a great signing. They definitely filled in the first base position they needed.
Yeah.
So
I think the Brewers are like they're decent.
this year for the Padres and the Mets, I think is a World Series or bust, in my opinion.
I don't think you can.
Not for the Mets if they lost.
Not for the Mets. They
Diaz.
lost Diaz. Yeah.
Yeah.
If Diaz was fully healthy, then I would agree. Well, let's see. I mean,
But they're still saying World Series or bust in the power ranking. So
then that's fair. Then
Yeah.
World Series or bust. Then I guess, but it's gonna
Yeah.
be bust then.
Yeah, that's
But
guaranteed bust.
The Brewers have an easy division though. That's the thing. Like when you look at it, like
yeah, it's true.
Mm.
It's why they make the playoffs every year.
yeah, they have no.
Are we sponsored by Starry?
Yeah, no, we're sponsored by
I
Prime,
wish.
official unofficial sponsor.
Oh, speaking of that, I had to do a producer commercial. We did a Prime Thatcher.
What?
I'll send it to you.
Hell yeah! Why
That's
wasn't
funny.
I in it?
I don't know. I didn't know. I thought you were in Vegas with Addy, bro.
Oh no, I didn't go to Vegas with Addie. That was her solo trip to go see Taylor Swift. We should talk about jerseys because that's the best thing to talk about.
I still like the Giants City Connect jerseys. They're sick.
They're garbage.
I'm glad that you
You're
think that.
garbage.
I'm glad that you think that as a Giants fan. So it came out today. Nike released the 6 new teams that are getting City Connect jerseys this year. The Braves, which they dropped today, which I like them. I think they look
Very
good.
nice.
The
Thank God.
Rangers are going to be dropping theirs on April 17th. The Mariners are getting theirs on the 28th of April. The Reds are getting theirs on May 15th. The Orioles are getting theirs on the 22nd of May. And the Pirates are getting theirs June 22nd. What an L that they don't just release all at the same time. That's my
Yeah,
opinion.
doesn't make any
This is
sense.
the last year, I thought.
No, because they have to do it with every team getting
They'd have
it.
to do it with every team. There's no
That's
way
true.
they can leave
That's
have
true.
the
That's
majority
true.
of the American League.
All right,
without it.
chill. Stop yelling at me. God damn it.
But I think what I don't like is that they all don't drop at the same time. Like even at least make it all like the same week. Like,
Yeah.
but it's weird that it's like the next one is April 17th. That's like 3 weeks
20
away.
days. That's 20 days.
That's such an L.
It's like, what are they waiting for? They already know.
They already
what it
know
is.
what it is. They've already shot
Yeah.
the photo shoots for it. Just post
Yeah.
the pictures.
Yeah.
I think out of all of these, I bet the Reds have the worst one.
I'm-
All of them.
I want to
actually
see Power Rangers for the Rangers.
The Power Rangers.
I'm gonna say the Reds actually have the best one. They're the oldest team in the MLB. They got to do something cool.
We
Which
shall
show-
see.
But the fact that they're the oldest team shows that they're probably going to do like something really, really, really boring, and then everybody else is going to do something cool. So
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, did you see their Field of Dreams uniforms? Those are fire. right?
Yeah.
Those were
sure.
fire.
You know what I'm
All
saying?
right. We hope you guys enjoyed. Elijah,
Yes.
welcome to Take It to the House family. We're excited
you,
to have
it's
you
fun.
here. Enjoy the show 23 as that came out today for us, at least.
You better put my clip in this episode.
I put the clip in the episode at the end.
Go watch it.
Enjoy your opening day week. Enjoy some basketball as the NBA season comes to an end. And we will catch you guys next week with more news, NFL, MLB, NBA, and even NHL, baby. But we will see you guys next week. You guys have a lovely week.
See ya.
Cards.